So, today we're going to dive into one of the most incredible origin stories you'll ever hear, the birth of Krishna. And look, this is so much more than just a story about a baby being born. It's really about a divine power making its grand entrance into the world in, well, the most dramatic way you can possibly imagine. Which really brings us to a fascinating question, right? I mean, for you and me, birth is a biological event. It's often seen as being tied to karma, to the results of our past actions. But what about when a god chooses to be born? What does that even look like? How does that work? All right, a divine play begins. And to really get this, we have to start with a core concept in Hindu philosophy. It's what separates a divine birth from, a human one. And that concept is called Leela. So unlike us being born because of karma, a Leela is something totally different. It's a deliberate, self-created act. Think of it like a cosmic play. It's got a huge purpose, to restore balance and teach all of us a lesson. And in this story, Krishna's arrival itself, that's the miracle. It's the whole point. Okay, the tyrant's prophecy. Every great play needs a villain, right? It needs some real conflict. And boy, does this one start with a bang. It all kicks off with a prophecy that takes a king's love and just flips it into pure terror. So let's set the scene. You've got this powerful king, Kamsa. He absolutely adores his sister Devaki, and he's so happy for her that he's personally driving her chariot right after her wedding to Vasudeva. Everything's perfect. It's a huge celebration, but all of that is about to change in a flash. Then, out of nowhere, this voice booms from the sky. It's called an Asharavani, basically a voice without a body, and it delivers this absolutely chilling prophecy. It tells Kamsa straight up, your sister's 8th child is going to be the one who destroys you. And just like that, all that love he had for her, gone. It's instantly replaced by this cold, murderous fear. So what does he do? He panics, and he throws his own sister and her brand new husband into the darkest dungeon you can imagine. His plan is just brutal. He's going to kill every single child they have, which, sets the stage for years of just absolute heartbreak. It seems completely hopeless. Okay, next up, miracle in a prison. So get this. The divine child is supposed to be born in literally the worst place imaginable. We're talking in chains, inside a maximum security prison, with a tyrant waiting right outside to kill him. So you have to ask, how is that even possible? Yeah, how does a divine being get born in a situation that's completely impossible? Well, when the time finally comes for that 8th child, the birth it defies every law of nature, every law of man, everything. What happens next is just mind-blowing. Right at midnight, every single guard in the prison just falls into this deep, magical sleep. And Krishna, he doesn't show up as a crying, helpless baby. Not at all. Instead, he reveals his true divine form to his parents, four-armed, glowing with this incredible light, and holding his famous emblems, the conch, the discus, the mace, and the lotus. So, escape across the river. Just as quickly as that divine vision appears, it's gone. Krishna is now a normal baby. But he somehow communicates this crazy escape plan to his father. I mean, think about it. How are you supposed to break out of a fortress and cross a raging river with a newborn? Well, what happens next is proof that the whole universe is in on this plan. First, Vasudeva's chains, they just fall off. Then, all the locked barred doors, they swing wide open on their own. And get this, the Yamuna River, which is totally flooded and dangerous, literally parts to let him walk across. He makes it to the village of Gogol, swaps baby Krishna with a newborn baby girl, and gets all the way back to the prison just as everything magically locks up again behind him. Unbelievable. All right, the demon and the child. So Kamsa finds a baby girl. He's confused for a second, but he still tries to kill her. But then she reveals herself as a goddess, warns him his real destroyer is safe, and vanishes. Kamsa is, of course, furious, and now his plan gets way, way more sinister. So you see, the threat completely changes. It's not about open tyranny and targeting one kid anymore. No, now it's about deception. Kamsa sends this demoness, Putana, disguised as a beautiful woman, with a new mission: poison every single newborn baby in the area. He's hoping to get Krishna that way. So Putana goes to Gokul looking like this wonderful, caring woman. But of course, it's all a trick. She finds baby Krishna, picks him up, and pretends she's going to nurse him, offering him milk that's laced with a deadly poison. And this is the very first Leela of his childhood, his first divine act. The baby just calmly starts to drink. But he's not just drinking the milk and the poison, he's drinking her entire life force. He literally defeats his very first demon before he's even old enough to crawl. Think about that. But wait, there's one last miracle here, and it's a big one. After she's defeated, she reverts to her true demonic form, which is massive, like 13 kilometers long. And as the villagers burn the body, this beautiful, sweet smell of incense fills the air. And what that means is that the baby's divine touch was so pure, so powerful, that it actually purified the demon, granting her liberation even as she died trying to kill him. It's an incredible idea. So, a god in disguise. I mean, this first act is just incredible, right? Defeating a demon as a newborn? It totally sets the stage for a childhood that's going to be unlike anything else. It's a childhood full of this divine play, which constantly shows you the amazing power that's hidden inside this seemingly ordinary little boy. And that really gets to the core of why these stories are so important, why they've lasted for thousands of years. For people who believe, these aren't just cool myths. They're actually seen as a kind of spiritual cleansing. The idea is that just hearing the story about this incredible power being born in the darkest of places and overcoming impossible odds, that act of listening itself can have a purifying effect on you. So that really leaves us with one last thing to think about. If defeating a powerful demon as an infant is just the beginning, just imagine what other cosmic secrets and huge lessons are hidden in the rest of his childhood play. What else is there to find?